What happens when the king of chaos is finally forced to face the truth he's spent decades outrunning? Watch as Donald Trump's carefully crafted image begins to crumble in real time after Jimmy Kimmel exposes the hidden history behind his rise. The meltdown is unforgettable. The truth, impossible to ignore. In the high-stakes tightrope act of modern American politics, nothing is more electrifying than a clash between unshakable power and undeniable facts. For years, Trump has controlled his own narrative with sheer force of personality, swatting away critics and rewriting reality to suit his legend. But what happens when that unstoppable force meets an immovable object, and not in a debate hall, but on the disarming set of a late-night talk show? That was the collision at the heart of this story. Trump goes nuts after Jimmy Kimmel exposes this live on air. In a single interview, Kimmel, whom Trump had mocked as a low-rated clown, did what no political rival had managed. He came prepared.com and armed with receipts.
Jimmy Kimmel's terrible. You know what suspended him? His talent. You know what else is really what? Take a look at this guy, his ratings. That's what got Jimmy Kimmel out. He was terrible. And didn't he lose? I saw a report where ABC lost millions of dollars with him. So that's what suspended Jimmy Kimmel.
In a moment of pure, unscripted television drama, Kimmel unveiled a decades-old truth, one so deeply tied to Trump's public persona. In this fictional scenario, it triggered a full on-air meltdown. The special event had been promoted as a primetime conversation with the president, a rare, high-profile edition of Jimmy Kimmel Live. The studio pulsed with electricity, tense, buzzing, and filled with a carefully balanced bipartisan audience eager for confrontation. When Donald Trump stepped onto the stage, he was greeted with a strange mixture of boos and thunderous applause, a perfect reflection of the country's polarization. He absorbed it all with practiced ease, thriving under the spotlight like the seasoned showman he was. Trump sat down wearing a wide, confident smirk, fully prepared to dominate the conversation and promote his latest tax legislation. But Jimmy Kimmel was not the relaxed, comedic host viewers were used to. In this imagined moment, his usual jokes were replaced with a calm, steely focus. He wasn't there to entertain, he was there for answers. For the first 20 minutes, the exchange played out predictably. Trump dodged, boasted, and repeated familiar talking points, calling his tax cuts the greatest in history. Kimmel pushed back with methodical fact checks, refusing to let the standard deflection slide. Tension thickened with every exchange. Then came the turning point. Kimmel shifted away from policy and went straight for the core of Trump's crafted identity, his legendary business genius. And that's when everything changed.
There's a rumor making the rounds this weekend that Trump was dead because he hadn't been in front of a camera for a few days. That's how much he's in front of a camera. When we don't see him there, we assume he must be dead. And also he has mysterious bruising on his hand, which they tried to cover up with makeup. And this cover-up's even sloppier than the Epstein one. How can anyone let him go out?
Mr. President, Kimmel began, his voice steady and precise. You've built your entire brand on the story of being a self-made man, a brilliant dealmaker. You've often said you received a small loan of $1 million from your father and turned it into a $10 billion empire. You've presented that as the ultimate American success story. Trump nodded proudly, smiling out at the audience as if he'd rehearsed the moment. That's right, Jimmy, a small loan, $1 million, and I built one of the greatest companies in the world. Most people don't have the brain for it. I do. I understand debt better than anyone. I'm the king of it. He settled back, fully basking in his origin myth, unaware he had stepped directly into the most flawlessly laid trap of the night. Kimmel allowed the boast to hang in the air. He didn't laugh, didn't blink, didn't break eye contact. His expression was unreadable. Mr. President, he said again, softer now, but with a dangerous new gravity. I'm glad you brought that up. The studio fell completely silent. Slowly, Kimmel reached beneath his desk and lifted a thick, bound document plane, almost ominous in its simplicity. We've been doing some research for this interview, he continued, his voice controlled and unwavering. What happened next would change the entire tone of the night.
Children, you would think a person who himself has the brain of a child would be in favor of funding pediatric brain care.
This document, Kimmel said, holding up the binder, is a certified copy of the 1991 New Jersey Casino Control Commission's investigative report on your finances, unsealed last year. We've spent the past month going through all 800 pages. Trump's confident smile twitched, then faded. His eyes narrowed. This was not in the pre-interview notes. You're right, sir. Kimmel continued calmly. Your father did give you a $1 million loan. But that's not the full story, is it? The shift was unmistakable. Kimmel was no longer a host. He was a prosecutor. He opened the binder. This report details how, when your casino empire began collapsing in 1990, you were more than $3 billion in debt, and your father repeatedly intervened to keep everything afloat.